The combine is a place that a lot of deals are made behind the scenes. Agents will talk to other teams about potential free agents that could come up and things that could be made, moves that could be made for the upcoming season. And the Detroit Lions are no doubt one of those teams. And I myself have been on a Myles Garrett train since the news came out, even before that, when he announced his departure, that he wanted to have a conversation with the upper management of the Cleveland Browns. I've been on the train. I will not get off it until he is not part of the Detroit Lions and not part of the Cleveland Browns. Once he's traded, then that train will be derailed at that point. But I'm still driving this train until that happens. And we have a situation where we've talked about this. The two teams that, in my opinion, if Myles Garrett does get traded, which I think he will, there is a stalemate between the two parties with him and the Cleveland Browns. I truly believe he will be traded. And it looks like that he will be traded to either the Washington Commanders or the Philadelphia Eagles. There's been a lot of talk. As a matter of fact, when Myles Garrett was asked specifically about the Eagles and the Washington Commanders, a slight smile came over his face. Now, there's been reports that he was asked about the Detroit Lions. Has he thought about playing for them? And he said, quote, not yet. I don't know how true that is, but those are the reports. And now it looks like that Howie Roseman is going to say again, well, not again, but he's going to follow the Les Snead mantra of forget them picks. And if they were to make a move in free agency, or not in free agency, but coming up, that it would be for Myles Garrett. This is our biggest fear. We have talked about this. The one thing that we did not want to happen was for him to go to the Philadelphia Eagles. And it looks like that Howie Roseman, who is coming off a Super Bowl championship, he's got 2 in the past 7 years, is not done yet. He is trying to rival the Kansas City Chiefs and their dynasty, because if the Philadelphia Eagles repeat, then they are in dynasty territory. And if you ever repeat, you're in dynasty territory. Let me tell you what got me in such an uproar today. This is coming from SI, and this is from a tweet that I would love to bring in, but I can't because it plays music, and that music will get copyright claimed, and then there's no point in making this video. Here's what she had to say on The Scoop with Chase Daniel. Here's what some people are saying right now. Howie is willing to move on from some of these guys, and saying at the combine, because he's looking to make a big swing. And that big swing would be for Myles Garrett. Some of these guys that you think are a sure thing may not be a sure thing to return to Philly. And while we are probably going to sign Marcus Davenport, and we are worried about breaking the bank and mortgaging the future, Howie Roseman is making moves, coming off a Super Bowl champion, and I believe this. You believe it too. This would be the equivalent of a move that would need to be vetoed in the NBA, a trade that would need to be vetoed in the NBA. This would be the move, that equivalent. We are going to re-sign Marcus Davenport. Now, I know what you're saying, Derek. The draft is full of edge rushers. It's full of D linemen. And we're going to talk about the combine meetings in a later video today. Yes, that could be the case. You could get one at 28, 5-year deal, including the 5th-year option. All of that is true. But this is the one thing that we cannot allow happen. Now, of course, the Lions can only play their part. And I made a video not too long ago about if I was Myles Garrett, why would I want to go to Detroit over the Philadelphia Eagles? If I'm the pitch man, the spokesperson, my job is to pitch Myles Garrett, pitch the probability of him coming to Detroit. Why would you come to Detroit over the Philadelphia Eagles? I would say, Myles, we had 16 starters or 16 defensive players on injured reserve. We still won 15-2. You said you wanted to take a team over the hump. The Philadelphia Eagles have been over the hump. You could help take the Detroit Lions over the hump. If you were to come to Detroit, we are the only OG team, 90 plus years now, that has not been a Super Bowl. If you came to Detroit, you would be forever. You talking about legacy? There's no better legacy than to come and help take a team that has had the history that ours. We retired 2 people, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson. Imagine what goes into the history books if you help the Detroit Lions overcome that hump. Zadarius plays here. Talk to him. Detroit, the fans would welcome you in with the biggest arms you've ever seen. And also playing alongside Hutch. Aleem McNeil, DJ Reader, Broderick Martin. You know I had to do it. I would try to pitch the absolute life out of this. Send me. I'll pitch. I'll make the pitch. The Philadelphia Eagles cannot get Myles Garrett. You're talking about unfair, but before I hit record on this video, I'm saying to myself, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there because this is a viewer discretion disclaimer. If you are a Brad Holmes slappy, I need you to exit the video. Hopefully there was an ad in here that you watched to help the channel out. I appreciate you. But if you are a slappy of Brad Holmes, I need you to leave. I need you to leave, exit the video. Okay. Now, if you're still here, this is what we cannot, I want to go over what we have done. Not to say that Brad is in year 5 now. You're in year 5. You have failed to properly address the defensive line. Notice I said properly address. You continue to take cornerback after cornerback after cornerback. I'm even hearing that we might draft a quarterback. Where is the D-line help? Let me tell you something. We signed Emmanuel. Look at the track record of Brad Holmes. And I think because he's had so many hits in the first round, so many hits in the second round, so many late round picks that have been hits. He had more hits than misses. His misses are going to kind of be more apparent now that we're deeper in his regime. But I want you to see what he does. Emmanuel Mosley came off a season-ending injury with the San Francisco 49ers. What did the Lions do? They signed him. Tim Patrick, DJ Reader, Marcus Davenport. There's a lot of history of a player coming off of a season-ending injury. Why is that happening? I think because they're discounted. That's just what I believe. Which is why Brad Holmes was called cheap until he threw out all that money to his draft picks. Emmanuel Mosley was then a season-ending injury with the Detroit Lions, and then we re-signed him after that. So follow me here. 2 season-ending injuries. And we signed him after both. He comes back year 3, has another season-ending injury. Marcus Davenport, season-ending injury, another season-ending injury. These are facts, people. So this is what Brad Holmes will do, but what he won't do is mortgage the future, sell the farm. The 2 teams that even have considered doing that, the LA Rams done it, they got their Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles got their Super Bowl built through the draft. I'm going to tell you what. If the Philadelphia Eagles get Myles Garrett, what are you going to say about building through the draft? They not only built through, that's how you become dominant and you stay dominant. Brad Holmes has had 4 years to, quote, build through the draft, and he's done just that. And now we're moving into year 5, and we're still talking about that. Building through the draft. While we're building through the draft, the Eagles are coming off their 2nd Super Bowl in almost the same amount of time. Well, it's a little bit less because I think that was 2017, 18, somewhere around there. The 2017 season, because the 18 season is when Jared Goff went against the Patriots. 3 years after that, Brad Holmes takes over. 3-4 years after that. So while we're building through the draft and hoping to get to our first one, the Eagles are trying to create a dynasty. And the way that you do that is you build through the draft and you make power moves. We keep talking about that. We keep talking about it. Even the Kansas City Chiefs. People, they built through the draft. Yes, they did. But you know what their power move was? Keeping Chris Jones. That was their power move. One of them. Plus, they got Patrick Mahomes, who he got exposed. We already know what now we know what his kryptonite is. His kryptonite is a pass rush. That's what it is. That's what it is. Both times that he's lost the Super Bowl, the D-line was relentless in his face all day. So now we know for a fact that is his kryptonite. And the refs not bailing him out. There will come a time. So Philadelphia is showing you, yeah, we're going to build through the draft and we're going to make a power move and be dominant. While we're signing Marcus Davenport, we're going to sign people coming off a season-ending injury. We're going to be over the age of 30. We're going to be 34. That's what we're going to do. At this point, people, I'm like, okay, cool. So what he drafts again? We need many, many more people than that. And Brad likes to draft projects, right? So, hey, trade for Myles Garrett, put him out there to start. You got Zadarius Smith that can come in and spell any, Hutch or and you can put him out there. Draft him. Go ahead, right? Go. You got Broderick. What's the problem? Draft another project on the D-line. Who cares? This is so. Keep in mind, people, I'm not talking about the positive like that. We already know what that is. We're going to keep walking this line of not willing to take a chance, make a mistake, get messy, and win it all. We're going to continue to do what we've been doing. Is that enough to win us a Super Bowl? We'll see. Right now, it hasn't been. And you're going to use 2024 as an excuse. You're going to use attrition. How many times did you hear attrition before this year? Expect a season like this every 5 years. 2019, we had an attrition. We're going to call it the attrition season. Whenever we have a season like this, it's called the attrition season. 2019, you guys remember, David Blau was paid, was given, he was going to get a truck from the Ford family if he could win a game for the Detroit Lions. The rich get richer. Only a matter of time will be able to show us what we're capable of doing. But if the Philadelphia I don't understand why we're so scary. We're acting so fragile because we don't want to break where everybody else is doing it and winning championships. And we're sitting talking about attrition. Let the Philadelphia Eagles get Myles Garrett. I don't care who they lose. Josh Sweat doesn't. Let them get Myles Garrett. I want to hear what your argument going to be then. A team, a fan base who has 0 Super Bowl appearances, 0 Super Bowls, and we got the nerve to criticize a team that got 2 in 7 years. And we got the nerve to say what we won't do while we sitting here talking about the offseason as the first seed when we should be on Woodward somewhere celebrating. Let me know. Anyway, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. We could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. If this happens, I can't wait to hear what the fan base has to say. Don't forget, we play the Eagles next year as well in Philly. Should be a good one. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.